It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Okay, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 22nd day of August 2020. It is a anniversary of sort. 15 years ago today, Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, which means 14 years and 11 months ago, Hurricane Dennis hit New Orleans. That was about a month before. And which is important to me because I was out in a cruise ship getting chased all over the Gulf of Mexico and Hurricane Dennis. But anyway, several things to cover this morning. Those of you that might have looked at my preview of today's show, notice that I mentioned an announcement of a merger of sorts between Chillie Cruises and Cruise Amigos. Now, here's the deal, guys. You guys know that I co-host the show with Pete and John from London on Sundays. It has become wildly popular. We get a tremendous audience. It is by far more successful than any of the three of us ever dreamt possible. We've been getting some fabulous guests, and there's no reason why that can't continue. Now, we also try to keep everything on that channel, everything on that show, uplifting, positive about travel and cruise industry, which has been a bit difficult at times in this period of pandemics worldwide and the problems and so forth associated with that. But our goal is to keep that show on Sunday positive and uplifting and that kind of thing. Now, let's compare that to my personal channel, this channel. Although I am broadcasting live on the Cruise Amigos page today, just because I'm announcing this morning. But on this channel, because I'm news-based, I have to do the negative as well as the positive. I have to give my opinions, be they good, bad, or indifferent. Some of you may like them. Some of you may disagree with them. That's okay. My opinions are my opinions. But I do have to cover some things that in the overall course of things are considered negative. That's just part of dealing with travel and cruise industry news as I do. So I also have on this channel Chillie Chats, which is my interview show where I interview people about all facets of the travel and cruise industry, just like we do with the Cruise Amigos. So basically what we're going to do is kind of sort of marriage the two a step further than we have been. And my interviews now, the Chillie Chats are going to be Cruise Amigos chats from Virginia as opposed to from London. Other than the fact that I'm going to be behind the scenes pushing the buttons for pictures and that kind of thing that Pete does every Sunday, there's not a whole lot of difference other than Sunday show is live at 3 o'clock our time, 8 o'clock London time, every Sunday, guaranteed. That we are on, and it is always an hour. At 59 minutes and 20 seconds, we cut it off no matter what. We do an hour, period. That's it. Usually we could go a lot longer because our guests have been so good, but that's what we try to do. It's an hour show. My Chillie Chats could be a lesser time frame than an hour. I mean, I might do an hour show. I'm not going to try and never go over an hour if at all possible. Although you guys try to stick me sometimes with doing an hour here by giving me 1,400 chats to go over before the show's over with. But that's anyway. Our target is with the Chillie chats, which will be Cruise Amigos chats from Virginia. By the way, John doesn't even know about this because I asked him to contact me when he woke up today, and apparently he's not awake yet. Or he could be out flying his plane. Who knows what John's doing? But anyway, assuming that John has no major objection to this, I've talked to Pete this morning several times already, so that's the direction we're going in. Now, what's ahead? We've announced, of course, that the show Sunday is with Dan Hopfield of Katrina Cruises, which is over there in Croatia. Daniel is the director, marketing director for Katrina. He's going to be on board the Katrina, which is their newest ship, and broadcast from Primistan, Croatia, on the island, an island on the Dalmatian coast of the Adriatic Sea, on Sunday. Now, we are hoping that the Wi-Fi signal from on board his ship works. He feels that if he need be, he can get phone signal if he has to bail out and go to a phone. So, that can have a little bit tough effect on trying to do a live show, but we're gonna attempt it. So that's our show Sunday. He's going to be a fabulous guest. Pete and I talked to him the other day. He's going to be a great guest. It's going to be an interesting show. So please, y'all join us. That's 3:00 our time here in the eastern part of the United States, 3:00 Eastern Daylight Time, and 8:00 London time. Now, Wednesday night, which will be at the same time, 3:00 our time on Wednesday and 8:00 London time. The new Chillie chat version of Cruise Amigos from Virginia is going to interview two of my Scottish ladies, Rona Nicholson and Alison Moore, about their ladies' day in Edinburgh last weekend. So we're going to do just a little chat about that. They had a great time and have some wonderful pictures. And I don't know a whole lot about Edinburgh, Scotland. So we're going to do a chat on Edinburgh. And Pete will definitely be with us. So he might throw in some comments or questions. And hopefully John will be with us as well. That's the other thing. You never know with the Chillie chat version of the Cruise Amigos if all three of us will be here, because there might be times when only two of us are here. Could even be one of us if everybody's busy or whatever, because we could be doing some unusual times with this. But anyway, that's Wednesday. Thursday, the next night, we're going at the same time, 3:00 Eastern Daylight Time, 8:00 London time. We're going to have a chat with Alison on one of her recent cruises before the pandemic, obviously, to Dubrovnik, Croatia, because she posted some lovely pictures, and we're going to talk about her cruise, which was on one of the Norwegian ships, I think. But anyway, we'll talk about that cruise, and we're going to do a little chat on that on Thursday. So that's three things that are set up and going. Next Sunday on the main show from London, our guest is going to be, my mind just went blank, Ernest Marchane, I'm not sure on the pronunciation, who currently lives in Las Vegas. He's a cruise director for Azamara Cruises. But he is also, before that, was an actor in Starlight Express. He played Rusty in Greaseball, a couple lead roles in Starlight Express, which performed someplace in Europe, I'm not sure where, but someplace in Europe, and also at the Hilton in Vegas. And he did those roles for like 10 years before he became a cruise director for Asamir. So yeah, next Sunday's going to be an interesting show just because of his background. So that's coming up. So, and then I'm also, I've talked to Sue, our friend Sue, who went on a couple cruises over there. She's one of our writer friends and the Sunday Times editor. We're going to do one with her maybe this week also. I saw all kinds of stuff going on. All right. Sorry about getting totally off center on what we got to do. We got to start looking at news for the day. And of course, it has to do with Tropical Storm Marco. Most of you, or some of you at least, saw my breaking news video yesterday when Tropical Storm Laura reached naming status. Well, during the night last night, 14 became Marco. So we have now 2 storms in the Caribbean at the same time, heading in the same direction. Now, bringing you up to date on the status of the 2. Laura, as of 11 o'clock, which is just as I came on the air, so I'm looking at this for the first time, now has maximum sustained winds of 40. That's the same as it was most of the morning. Pressure's 1,006 millibars. It's moved 1 millibar. Movement west at 18 miles an hour. So it has slowed down just a tick from where it was. Now, we're going to talk about that in a second. Meanwhile, Marco has maximum sustained winds of 50, so it is strengthening. Minimum central pressure is 1,002. That's changed considerably. Movement is north-northwest at 12 miles an hour. It's slowed down considerably. So Marco is, in fact, strengthening as it has. That's 3 updates in a row that have changed upward. So now, one of the major changes is, if you can see the map here, Laura is currently about 40 miles south of San Juan. It's going to now go across part of, at least, Puerto Rico. Now, it's as a tropical storm. So far, it hit the Virgin Islands pretty heavily, St. Croix and British Virgin Islands, the Tortola, pretty heavily this morning with lots of rain, heavy rain. The storm so far, all the rain has been on the east side of the center. It's not a very well-developed center yet, which means that it's not necessarily going to be a hurricane, but it still most likely will be. Now, Laura is going to be heading toward, if you draw a straight line from where Laura is there over here to the Keys, that's the direction she's going. We don't know if it's going to skirt by Hispaniola and the high mountains, if it's going to completely skirt by the mountains of Puerto Rico, which could affect the strength of Laura. And then once it gets past Dominican Republic, it's expected to stay just slightly off the coast of Cuba, which means it's going to brush by the Keys, possibly Key West, and head on into the Gulf and head for the Gulf Coast. There are several things that could affect this. One is how much land mass there is. how much interaction with land there is. Who knows exactly at this point? We don't know, because it's not a completely formed eye yet to be a hurricane and strengthen in that vein. This thing could be a general movement, which this particular one, which was done last night, actually before it did a little bit of movement to the south this morning, during the night last night, has it generally heading toward like New Orleans, which it could hit anywhere on the Gulf Coast from the western part of the Panhandle on around to eastern Texas. So that's Laura. Now, at the same time, you got Marco over here, the one that's strengthening like crazy. Come back to this. It is currently about 100 miles from Cancun, off the coast of the Yucatan. It is going to either brush by the tip of the Yucatan with, that's where Cozumel and Cancun and Carmen de Playa and all those, it could hit there, could cross the tip of the Yucatan. It could slide by it to the north. Those kind of things we don't know yet. In another hour or so, we'll probably know, because this thing could go anywhere, see it here, across the tip or just miss the tip. And then it's supposed to bend a little bit toward the west and hit Texas. But that could be changing as well. The main thing about either storm is they're going to hit some warm water no matter what. It's like bath water in the Gulf. So, and there's very little shear. Now, at least I know what shear is on these. I don't know what the central pressure does other than, blow your ears out. But, the shear is going to, if there's a lot of shear, it weakens it. There's not much shear, and there's a lot of warm water, which is going to strengthen things. So both storms could be in this position of strengthening to hurricane. One could be a hurricane. Both could be a hurricane. Who knows? A lot depends on Laura, how much land interaction she's going to have, which Marco is going to have just the tip of across the Yucatan and probably be right back into that bathwater water again. And it's going to strengthen, and, who knows? Anyway, one or both could be hurricanes, both heading to the exact same spot on the Gulf Coast. Not exact same, but they could both hit the Gulf Coast at the same time, like Tuesday or sometime. So, man, all you people out there, you got to be prepared for this. You got to do all the things you're supposed to do, especially, and keep in mind that these could be either tropical storm or hurricane force winds are going to smack you in the middle of a pandemic all across the Gulf Coast. So, keep that in mind and play into those hands. So it's going to be a very dicey 3 or 4 days upcoming. Let's see if I missed anything on here I'm supposed to say. Marco was formed, becoming the 13th named storm. There's another interesting fact for you. Yesterday, it was Depression 13 and upgraded. It was 14. Depression 13 was upgraded to Laura, which happened near the Leeward Islands. Both storms break records for the earliest L and M named storms in the Atlantic Basin, with their August 21st formations beating the previous record of Louis in 1995, Maria in 2005. So the storms both have forecast track that take the systems into the Gulf with possible landfalls next week. And that's what's happening in the tropics. Now, There's one other storm to mention, which is out on the Pacific side of things. And this isn't a whole, this is kind of a ha-ha compared to what's going on in the Atlantic right now. It's a weak system. It hasn't reached tropical cyclone conditions yet. It's just a disturbance. But there's an interesting thing worth pointing out. We've had 3 or 4 storms recently out there in the Pacific, and they've all been moving west. They've been heading to Hawaii. And one of them went over, just missed Hawaii. One of them went south of Hawaii. But they've all been moving west. This one's moving east. This one's heading toward Baja. Now, it's not, at this point, they're saying there's very little chance of much development because of shear and, all those things. But it's moving east instead of west like they were moving. So that jet stream thing's it's smoking some of John's dope or something. I don't know what it's doing. But anyway. Okay, so much with storms. I will, of course, be updating you. I'll stay on top of this throughout the weekend because I got a feeling there's going to be a lot more news with both between now and come Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So we'll stay on top of it and try to keep you guys updated as much as possible with my sources. My buddy Jim Cantori, I've tried to get a hold of him, and he's already moving. So he's going to be out there in the water and letting wind blow him around like usual. So anyway, one of these days we'll get one of the weather guys on. That would be a fun chat in the middle, not in the middle of one of the storms. Let's get it past that where they're sitting around doing things in the studio, and I'll get one of those guys on. That would be fun. All right, a couple other things to cover this morning. Let's see, where am I on my list of things here? Okay. Carnival Cruise Line. Where'd that story go? Yeah. We officially haven't even met the Mardi Gras yet, but Carnival is introducing the Mardi Gras sister. Yesterday, the company revealed that its next ship, expected to be delivered in November of 2022, will be named the Carnival Celebration. In some way, Mardi Gras sister will be a virtual twin. Both will weigh in just under 184,000 gross tons. Both, like the majority of Carnival Carnival Cruise Line's fleet, will be Panamanian flagged. We're not going to discuss that one today. My thinking about that. What else do we need to know about the celebration? It's going to have the roller coaster on the top deck. Both of the ships are being built at Meyer Turku in Finland. The ships are each slated to sail out of Florida with the Mardi Gras home porting in Port Canaveral. The celebration will be based in Miami. And I understand that our friend Jason in Pittsburgh is not booked on the celebration yet. However, the first day they have a cruise open on the celebration, I promise you, Jason will be booked on that sucker. I might be joining him, come to think about it. So that's where we're that's going to be 22. So got a little time away on that one. Now, the other thing, a similar story, at least, the MSC Seashore was floated out yesterday. That is the newest ship from MSC. Which is they're calling themselves now the world's fastest growing cruise line. The Seashore touched the water for the first time when the vessel was floated out of dry dock. It will be the cruise line's longest ship at 1,112 feet and the largest and most innovative ever built in Italy. And it's now moved to wet dock until her delivery in July of 2021 to allow for all the work on the interior and all the stuff that they do to get the details done on the ship. Her inaugural season in the Mediterranean will be in 21, and then she will make her way to the U.S., arriving in Miami in November of 2021. From there, she will sail 7-night Caribbean itineraries, including stops at the MSC Cruises private island in the Bahamas, Ocean Key, MSC Marine Reserve. So, Seashore will become the third of a total of 4 vessels in the MSC's innovative and groundbreaking Seaside class of ships, following the Seaside and the Seaview, which launched in 2017 and 18. Of course, the Seaside has been over here and is going back to Europe later on this year. So that's the MSC. Fred Olsen, for our friends over there in Europe, the UK-based Fred Olsen Cruises has announced it is retiring 2 of its cruise ships after purchasing 2 newer ones from Carnival-owned Holland America. The Black Watch and the Boudica will both be retired, as they are currently the oldest ship in the Fred Olsen fleet. The 2 vessels that they've purchased, the Amsterdam and the Rotterdam, from Holland America, were renamed the Bolette, and the Borealis will replace those 2 ships and the 2 ships' itineraries. So that's for you guys over there that in the UK and whatnot in Europe, because in this country, we don't follow a whole lot about Fred Olsen. We don't know a whole lot about a lot of the cruise lines that you guys use in Europe. Cruise lines, cruise ships. We are drastically uninformed in this country about what goes on in all of the cruise world. So hopefully over time we can change some of that information. Now, there's one other story that I'm going to make mention of this morning. I've talked several times about the new testing, the spit tests that they're talking about, and the breathalyzer test that they're talking about, that are all in process. Well, here's another one, and my friend Pete over there found this one and sent it to me. Pharmacist at Boy, the tongue is just not working today, guys. And I didn't have any bourbon last night. So it's not that I got toasted. It's just the tongue's not working. And my teeth are back to where I'm not hurting anymore like I was the other day. It's been different the other day because I could blame it on my mouth from being at the dentist. I'm just not working today. Anyway, pharmacist at Martin Luther University's Halle Wittenberg have succeeded and detected small amounts of coronavirus SARS-CoV-2, that's COVID-19, using mass spectrometry. For their investigation, they used gargle from people. So they had COVID-19 patients gargle and spit in a cup, and they run it through a mass spectrometer. Now, I know what a mass spectrometer is. That's that thing that Abby used to use on NCIS all the time to do all whatever the hell she did in her lab. That was a mass spectrometer, which she named and talked to. Well, it's the same thing. Only now they're using it on the pandemic. Obviously, you got to have a mass spectrometer to do this, but they say this could be available later on in the year. So who knows how this is going to be used. The point of I'm making, folks, is there's a lot of people out there that are working really hard to come up with these fast, inexpensive tests. Now, I don't know how inexpensive this is going to be using a mass spectrometer. I'm sure that's expensive, but who knows, if you can do thousands of them, you can start cutting the cost down to where it's not so much. But anyway, they're quick. I mean, this is like 15 minutes to have a result. So I just hope we get it sooner rather than later so we can start getting this thing under control. And admittedly, we have had some decent numbers the last couple of days in the United States. However, I'm afraid the more schools that open, this is going to start putting the numbers back in the wrong direction again. Keep my fingers crossed that it doesn't, but that's the way it looks to me. We'll see. That's all I can say. I still think from all the motorcycle folks that were in South Dakota is going to, that ended last week. I think in another week or two, you're going to see a spike from that because there was, 250,000 people out there and they weren't social distancing and they weren't, some were wearing masks, but not many. So it's just back to the same thing, folks. Before we can get this thing under control, you got to do what you got to do. You got to wear your mask and you got to socially distance. And wash your hands. Please, that's the only way we're going to get through this anytime soon. All right, so let's go look at comments. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of them this morning. I haven't been there at all. Okay. Tom Henry, yes, Tom. He said, "Good morning, CFS." That's Chillie Falls family. I love it. Thank you, Tom. I do appreciate that. And Tom says, "Hello to everybody." Sonny's with us. Sonny says, "Good morning to everybody." Tom forgot to say hello to Pete and Repeat and John. Gretchen's with us. Good morning, Gretchen from Ohio. Amy's here. A minute early. Sweet. Amy, you're on a roll. Wow. Jason says, I'm ready for a hurricane report. Yeah, and then I'll talk for 20 minutes. So I'm sure you're going to be on the new Carnival Cruise Line, Jason. I might have to join you on that one. Tom Henry says, can't get that monk line out of my head with Pete is here. Pete and Repeat go budding. Pete falls out and who's left. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Nikki's with us. Good morning, Nikki. There's Pete. Pete says, hello, everyone. Hope all's good and catch you later in our Zoom cocktail party. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. That's right. We got a cocktail party this afternoon. I can float over I've been so busy, especially trying to think and decide how we're going to do this business with kind of marrying the two together. And I've talked to Pete several times about doing that. So this isn't just one of my wacko ideas. We've actually thought it through, at least somewhat, on the whys and wherefores. But anyway, so Pete's on board with that. So we do have the cocktail party this afternoon. That's at 4:00 Eastern Daylight Time, 9:00. Funny piece of people talking time for Pete and the Scottish ladies and whoever else is over there in Europe that can and wants to join us. Y'all come on ahead. We have a good time. We spend about an hour and we can talk about anything. Who knows what comes up. We'll probably be talking about Rona and Allison and their trip to Edinburgh. And, I'm assuming they behaved themselves. Politically incorrect to ask that? Who cares? Probably ask it anyway. Anyway, I love my Scottish ladies. They're fabulous. So I'm looking forward to doing that with them too. That's going to be fun. All right, let's see what else we got here. Jason's not a fan of that. Oh, you're not a fan of The hurricane reporting? I don't know. Okay. No, Tom Henry is a fan of what, Jason? Oh, Cruise Amigos chat. He's not a fan of Cruise Amigos chat. Okay. Well, sorry about that. A lot of people have been. Well, we get, it's amazing the thousands of people we get in the audience for that. All right, let's see. Where are we? I am snoozing, Chillie putting me to sleep. Sorry about that, Tom. I can't listen. Sean Whitaker says, I can't listen to Pete all for an hour. Yeah, I'm glad somebody's tackling on Pete since everybody's bumming on me this morning. Welcome, Sean. Glad to have you with us today. Sean's a regular over there on the other side of the pond on our shows. Jason, thank you very much. Got a chat, super chat, whatever you call those things. Got some money. That's nice. Thank you, Jason. I do appreciate that. Maybe you rethink changing Chillie chats. Well, we're going to do we're going to do a lot more things. It's not going to be official heavy duty interviews. It's going to be things, like we're doing with the Scottish ladies on, some of the things they're doing. I mean, we're going to do a lot of stuff. So Tom Henry says, Emma had lots of good points. Would like to see if they are taken any seriously. We love Emma to death. Tom, more money needed, Jason. Chillie needs a bubble tent for the pool, keep the leaves out, and allow some warm swimming in the fall. That's really funny that you said that, Tom. I've looked at putting a heater in the pool, and that's just way ridiculously expensive. But I'm looking at a hot tub, which, I can't swim laps in a hot tub unless I get one of those really expensive things where it blows on you so hard you don't go anyplace and swim. But I could still do some exercises in a hot tub a lot. The difference is you're only heating, a couple hundred gallons instead of 60,000 gallons. I mean, that's what it makes it expensive when you heat a whole damn swimming pool. So anyway, Emily's with us. Emily's from New York. The ladies have wonderful photos. Yeah, they do. I'm going to use them too. You never know what's going to change here. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. What can I say? Oh, Tom Henry's another super chat. Thank you, Tom. I do appreciate that. You guys are being very generous today. Gretchen popped in with one too. Thank you, Gretchen. My goodness, I'm shocked this morning. Thank you all very much. As always, and if I don't say it enough, guys, when you guys do things like that, I am super thankful, super appreciative for doing that. Gretchen says, thought I'd go between you guys. All right, so thank you anyway. That's fabulous. I do appreciate it, guys. Nikki loves ladies' photos with the Wolverine. Yeah, so did I. I thought Lady was kind of an interesting guest. I enjoyed that immensely. Tina Turtle's going to have company. Yes, Tina Turtle will have company in the near future. It's another week or so until they're framed, and we'll be back there in the background. Looking forward to that. I promise not to cry. Which I did when I saw him the first time. I admit it. I was quite moved with when I saw the end resort. Oh, Sonny gave another. Wow, you guys are You guys are awesome today. Thank you, Sonny. Good heavens. What was it like being on a cruise ship during Katrina? I wasn't on a cruise ship during Katrina. I was on Dennis a month before Katrina, or a little less than a month. It hit along in July, toward the middle of the end of July in, what was that, 2005? Yeah, 2005. I was out there literally. I was on a Carnival ship. I don't remember which one. It was one of the old Carnival ships. And I believe it might have been the Carnival, come to think about it. But anyway, we were banged around a lot in the Gulf. And I mean, they try to stay away from those storms. We were stormed out of going in. That was the first time I was supposed to go to Grand Cayman. I've been stormed out of Grand Cayman 3 times. But that was the first time. Humongous waves, rough. I mean, you'd walk down the hallways and you'd literally get banged off the walls on each side. A lot of people had seasickness. Thankfully, it never bothered me. I just go with the punches. Of course, it's probably because my veins are full of bourbon, but it never bothered me. But a lot of people got, were seasick on that one. And then they kept us at sea for 2 days additional, so we got an extra 2 days on the cruise. But the problem with that is if I remember correctly, I had a group of 38 people on that ship, 36 or 38. And we got into New Orleans 2 days late. I had to get on the fly now, literally on the fly. I had to make arrangements for a hotel for 38 people for that night, because then trying to get airlines tickets out after a hurricane hits New Orleans was difficult, and that took another day or two as we got some people out the next day. Some, they're scattered all over the place. We're trying to take the people that had the most important things to do with their jobs or whatever. It was 2 days of getting everybody back home. That was the difficult part of that whole thing. Not so much the roughness at sea, although that was bad on a lot of people. But it was a tough situation. Finally, I got home about three days late when I finally got back to. I was in Virginia then. That was quite a trip. We booked it in July, knowing that we were getting a border on the edge of hurricane season, so we knew it was a risk. And I'd do it again because that was back when you could do groups and really save some money. And so it was a good deal. We just, in fact, had to, we had to get, go through all like hell of getting everybody home, but we got them. Everybody got home. Everybody had a good time. With the hotel we had was about 20-30 minutes north of town to get us out of the water, because that was Dennis flooded New Orleans. Not as bad as Katrina, but a lot of areas were underwater from that. So it was an experience. It really was. So, okay, let's see what else we got here. Watch Chillie more than my HBO or Showtime. Thank you, Gretchen. I do appreciate that. Was she really in a cruise then, Jason? Who, me? Yeah, I was. Okay. Wow, there's another super chat. Figured out how to do it. Okay, Sonny, you might have done it twice. So, I see the first one you were trying to, and you figured out how to do it. I see. Okay, Sonny, again, thank you. You guys are awesome today. I do appreciate that. Super chat. Jason says that was great. Thank you. Yes, I agree. Gretchen says, I'm up to $50. Is that what it did? I wasn't keeping track, but thank you guys. As always, I appreciate that. That helps with some of the costs of doing this silliness I'm doing. So, because I'm sure not working anywhere. So I'm now officially retired, y'all. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, everybody says, Jason says, we all work hard. Yes, you do. I know that. I don't mean to make light of that. Let's see what else we got on down here. Weather Channel would be a good second channel. Yeah. Let's see. What is Tom saying here? I'm recalling the movie The Day After Tomorrow. There were 3 large storms that all merged into a superstorm. Oh, I see. Yes. And Jason said that's a horrible movie. Sounds horrible. Goodness gracious. Here's another one. Nikki, thank you. Nikki, my Lord. I appreciate this, folks. I really, really do. Thank you very much. Pete says one day he'll hit 1,000 subscribers in the next decade. Yeah, Pete's. For those of you that don't know, you monetize channels on Facebook. You have to have 1,000 subscribers and I don't know 4,000 views a month, or I can't remember the numbers. I had the views, but it took me about a year to get my subscribers up to 1,000. Of course, I'm now over 2,000. So, and I still wonder how my friend Bruce got to 50,000 subscribers in a year or something. Unbelievable. So it'd be nice to do that. How is Cabo today? Cabo's pretty much getting back to normal. I did some checking on that, and the storm, of course, went off on its merry way to wherever storms go in the Pacific. And it was flooded, of course, on what day was that? Thursday. There was some substantial flooding in the town of Cabo itself. And of course, once the water went down, that was all taken care of. And it's just cleanup, like anybody that has flooding. The Norwegian Star is still in Southampton. Yes, it is. And that's Tom Henry's baby. He loves the Star. Pete says, really hope they announce something restarting from Southampton, and he would be so tempted. Tom Henry leaves for Port Canaveral on Thursday, keeping the storms off the East Coast. Rocket launch scheduled for the 29th. Nice. Be down there for a launch. That's cool. Wow. We need to talk. We need to do a chat, Tom, about the rocket launch. That would be an interesting chat. Let's see what else we got here. Boy, you got a lot of chats again today. I know you're trying to make me stay on for an hour. I don't even know what my time is on it. I can't see that. They named it after Carnival Festival. That was one of the old ships. Wasn't it? Carnival Festival? I think so. Seemed like I remember that back there in the back part of my brain someplace. Tom Henry, what time is the rocket launch? Oh, Emily wants to know what time is the rocket launch and maybe on computer streaming. I have no idea, and Tom doesn't, because Cindy is the one that keeps Tom in line and gives him all the information. So Sonny said, not interested in the big ships with race cars, coasters, laser tag, too much activity. You know what? I tend to agree with that. I went on the Holland American the Zuiderdam last fall, which is the first time I was that in the fall or was that in the spring? I was in the spring on the Zuiderdam. The Holland American is for old folks. I'm an old folk. I loved it. It was great. It wasn't like Carnival. I'm used to Carnival because I've been a Carnival guy for years and years and years and years. I was my main line, just like it is with Jason, which I'm always following what Jason does because it's where I was, 30 years ago when I started cruising, or however long I've been cruising, 40 years now. But anyway, I went on the Holland American and loved it. Yeah, it was a lot different. Food was great. The bars were fabulous. You didn't have as much entertainment. You didn't have as many bells and whistles. And you had a lot of people in my age group. I had no problem with that. I enjoyed it. I really did. As I'm trying to expand my horizons, Holland American was one of my expansions. And it was well worthwhile for me. Let's see where we are. Gretchen says I was on the Allure, but we were with my son. Okay. Is that a small ship or a very large guitar? What, the Allure or the Zuiderdam? Oh, are you poking fun at me again, Tom Henry? That's a tender boat. Yeah, you guys are giving me hell this morning, aren't you? Nikki's a zip line for me. I just like to roam around the big ship. It's fun. Well, it's fun to see new people confused as hell. Yeah, well, I did right after I did the Zuiderdam, I did the Carnival Sunrise. Yeah, Sunrise. And so, it's not as big as the newer ones, but it's a pretty good sized ship. So, and I had great, I had a great time on that too. I still like the Carnival ships. I'll always like the Carnival ships, but I did enjoy being on a little more laid back. And Jason, I don't suggest that for you. Not for another 30 years or so. 30 years from now, go on a Holland American. So, let's see, where are we here? Everybody's poking fun at me doing my weather crap. Jason wants to know how the poodle is, Emily. She walks him every day. I can tell you that. All right, sliding on down through here. Let's see if there's anything major here. Tom Henry, my 91-year-old aunt was tested positive in her home. She was isolated, had a few symptoms such as loss of taste and smell, but no major problems, is now out of isolation. Bless her heart. Good for her. That's great. One of the things that's happened with this, folks, they're getting better at what they're doing. So when a lot of us in my age group, if we had gotten this thing, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, however long it's been, there's a good possibility we wouldn't come out of it. Well, they've learned a lot and they're learning better on how to treat it. So that's one of the things that's, going to help. It's just that, man, those numbers are still just astronomical on deaths and stuff. And I'm still staying locked down, guys. It probably will until we get either the testing that we've been talking about or the vaccine or something. So, yes, Sonny says, Pete, a hermit with chocolate golf balls. That kind of sounds kind of kinky, Sonny. I like it. Yeah, talking about Pete playing golf last week. Amy says, please don't be politically correct. Chillie, say it like you see it. I'm always going to do that. No matter what. It's just that's just going to be me. If somebody doesn't like it, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that either. Tom Henry says, I thought Chillie was on a scooter around. How's he getting banged around? By the way, I didn't do the ad today, did I? Oh well. That's not going to hurt anything to miss it once in a while. Yeah, that was before I started with the scooter around. I mean, that was 15 years ago. I was still walking then. I can't walk that much anymore, unfortunately. I tried to walk around my pool. I don't have the biggest pool in the world. Walking around my pool twice, and I have to sit down. And that's sad. That's really sad. But that's the way it is. The scooter route is broken down. Yeah. No, the guy on the scooter route is broken down. That's the truth. So, all right, guys. I think we all want to swim in the pool. I don't know if I'm going to get in the pool today or not because it was another kind of cool night last night. I haven't been in it for a couple days because the water got cold. And I hate getting in cold water. I'm a sissy. I admit that totally upfront. I'm a sissy when it comes to cold water. However, it's going to be in the 90s for 4 or 5 straight days now. So it won't take me long to get out there. I may not make it in the water today because it's still going to be cold. And we're supposed to get a bunch of rain this afternoon. We're supposed to have storms and stuff. And then I got the cocktail party. And tomorrow we got the show from London / the Dalmatian coast of the Adriatic Sea. So my afternoons are pretty well shot for the weekends. By Monday, when it's 96 degrees, I'll be back in the pool. I promise you that. So I'm going to wrap it up, folks. It's 57 minutes. I did not quite make it an hour. Thank you just the same, but pretty close. So I'm going to call it a day. I will keep you updated this weekend with all this weather crap and anything else that happens major in the travel and cruise industry space. And as always, guys, stay healthy, wear your mask, stay at home if you can, socially distance if you have to go out, keep your hands clean and all that business. But beyond anything else, stay healthy, guys. I'll see you guys Tuesday, if not before then, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for being here. And thanks to all you guys for the super chats. That was just awesome. You guys have a fabulous, fabulous weekend.
Thank you for watching today's travel and cruise industry news. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie Cruises.